I am so excited today to bring you this wonderful guest expert, Elvira Hopper. She will be our VIP guest, and I am really yeah, excited and grateful for having her also on the first day, like opening the summit. And today we will have conversations about Elvira, about her work, and also the process, of course, of the gratitude and the manifestations and the expansions in her business and in her life. And that's just the beginning, because I can say it already. Then Elvira will also give a sessions during the Zoom panel on 23rd of June. And I am really beyond excited to having her. But of course, I will not keep so long. That's why I will just give the voice to Elvira to actually introduce yourself. You can share whatever you want about yourself. And yes.
Thank you, Eva. Oh, it's such a joy to be here. I'm so grateful you invited me, and yeah, I'm very honored to be here. So I think I really resonated with your topic, which is gratitude, because gratitude is one of those magical powers that if we know how to truly embody gratitude, not just intellectualize gratitude, but to really like make it a way of life for ourselves, like magic and miracles will find us daily, and this is the space I live in, right? I live in the space of magic and miracles because that's what, I live the opposite. Trust me, it was not fun. My corporate life, before that, I was in cancer research. They were not, me in alignment. They were me living out of alignment just to make money, just to look good to society, just to be accepted by my family. My dad wanted me to be a doctor, and I didn't have the marks to be a doctor, but I had to do something in the healthcare field because I wanted him to be proud of me. And so for many years I lived out of alignment, and for many years my life was very, very hard, and I struggled with depression, anxiety, panic attacks. I was bullied. That's really what caused, the mental health issues. When you're bullied as an adult, it's a very dark place to live. And so it was because I wasn't able to be me. And so I had to go through that whole experience to then have a breakdown and a spiritual breakthrough. And the spiritual breakthrough that was gifted to me divinely, I didn't make it up, is based on really law of attraction. That's a big part of it. So it's called the miracle magnet method, right? And so above my head you can see be a miracle magnet. So it's all about living in a higher vibration, where you're living in alignment, where you're living with joy and love and gratitude, which is one of the highest vibrations on the planet. So it's all about where are you vibrating and what are you attracting? Oh, I get chills when I say that. So for many years, I didn't realize, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I lived out of alignment. And yes, I was an award-winning big pharma rep, and before that, I worked in cancer research, and I wore the white lab coat in a hospital. But you know what? That's not what I was brought here to do. And I lived with a big smile on my face, pretending everything was good and I was successful, but it wasn't me. And so I was dying to be me. And so I had to have a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough. And that breakthrough allowed me to become fully me. And fully me is being able to share this message with the world of loving your vibe, of being a miracle magnet. Again, above my head, aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed. And that is what saved me. And gratitude is a big part of the miracle magnet method. It's a key element in this work. And so I became grateful for everything, including the challenges, especially the challenges, because I was bullied at work and I had another bully socially, and I went to a dark place mentally for 2 solid years where I thought the world was better off without me in it. And it had to get that dark, because what got me out was realizing these people that are bullying you and shaming you and hating you and, making you, you know, a laughing stock, like I couldn't, I was not seen the same way at my work as I used to be seen. And people aren't talking to me anymore, right? And being a sensitive, heart-centered person, like that was harsh, right? When everybody hates you because you're being bullied. And, it was me and this guy, we were competing for the boss's job, and it got ugly politically. And he used to be a dear friend. And so we had a misunderstanding. Instead of fixing it, he just started bullying me. So everybody would hate me and I wouldn't get the job, right? That was his tactic. So anyway, so for 2 years, like I hated him because he hated me and he made my life hell, right? And then because I had a kick me sign on my back for those 2 years, there's another area of my life that somebody read that kick me sign. I didn't read it, but they did. And they kicked me too. They bullied me too. But then when I hit rock bottom where I said, I can't do this anymore, give me a way out. That's not Western medicine where I had worked for 27 years. That's not landmark education, Tony Robbins, which were programs I did that worked until they didn't. That wasn't religion. I was raised Roman Catholic. God is out there. I'm a lowly sinner. That's not any of these things that didn't work anymore because I literally thought the world was better off without me. Give me a way out, or give me a way of ending my life. Well, guess what? I got the way out, and it was gifted to me when I didn't want to live anymore. And it's called the Miracle Magnet Method now. And it allowed me to tear the kick me sign off my back. So I no longer got bullied, right? And it allowed me to see that if you're being bullied over here at work and you're being bullied socially, two different areas of your life, who's the common denominator? Me. And I realized those people, by hating me and shaming me and making me a laughing stock, they actually did me a favor because I had to leave that inauthentic life to live the truth that I live today. And how grateful am I to the two of them for bullying me and hating me and shaming me, right? So we call these people in my modality, in this Miracle Magnet Method, we call them angels of evolution. By pushing your buttons, by treating you badly, they actually force you to evolve. I used to need outer validation like I needed oxygen back in those days, right? From people at work, from people socially. Well, I don't need outer validation anymore because I validate myself. And I'm grateful for everything I went through that brought me to where I am here. I lived out of alignment for most of my life because I meant to show people it's never too late, you're never too old. And my father, he could sing like Pavarotti, but he never did anything with his voice. So when I told him at 11 years old, I wanted to be on stage singing and dancing, he said, you can't be on stage because those women are sluts. So I wasn't allowed to be me, but guess what? When I had the breakdown and the breakthrough where I became fully me, I became a professional jazz artist like those women on stage at the age of 51. Now I'm a multi-award winning jazz artist. Now I have wowed people like Oprah Winfrey's man, Stedman Graham. It's all on YouTube if you want to see it. Google his name and mine. I share all of this because I'm also a multi-award winning jazz artist. I share all of this to say it's never too late, you're never too old. And if you truly do your inner work, if you can learn to love your vibe and be a miracle magnet, you will become fully you, aligned, authentic, and fully self-expressed. It's what saved my life. And now I am going to talk about this until the day that I die. And in fact, I have a global team of facilitators of this modality so that after 6 months, I teach it to you in about 3 hours online. But when you learn to embody it over 6 months with one of my miracle mindset mentors, you can truly embody gratitude. You can truly embody being grateful for your angels of evolution. You can truly embody how to have great boundaries and not let people, come into your inner circle that don't deserve to be there. These are just some of the tools and teachings I was shown that saved my life. And so I get to share these with the world because I need them first and foremost myself. I practice them every single day. And now I have a global team of people that share it with the world. And so I don't work a day in my life because everything I do is absolutely in alignment with who I am. And I believe that I won the awards and I got to sing for the mayor of my city's 60th private birthday party. I have two jazz bands. My second jazz band is the award-winning band, and we were asked to sing at the mayor's party, and again, wowing Oprah Winfrey's man. Am I really the best singer in my city? Am I really somebody that should wow a celebrity? Probably not, but am I the most aligned singer in my city and someone that shows up very authentically so that a celebrity can say, wow? Yeah, I believe that I am because it's my gift. My father never used his gift for singing. He could sing like Pavarotti, but 14 years ago, Eva, he died with his real music still in him. He died with two types of cancer, mental health struggles on meds, and a marriage in shambles. I deeply believe that he paid the ultimate price for living out of alignment, for not doing what he was brought here to do. And he almost kept me from doing it too. But I couldn't do it at rock bottom. I had to leave that darkness behind, and becoming fully me is what saved my life. So I'm here to share that with the world. You've got to get aligned, authentic, and fully self-expressed and be a miracle magnet too. It's possible because if someone like me with horrible mental health genes could do it, virtually any of us can. So that's my story in a nutshell. And this is why gratitude is such an important part of my practice, to be grateful for the great stuff and say thank you, thank you, thank you. That's when you receive more according to the law of gratitude, which is a universal law. But also thank you, thank you, thank you for my angels of evolution, for my gifts of contrast that show me what I don't want so I can create what I do want, which is a concept Abraham Hicks talks about, right? So I live and breathe this every day. When you told me what the title was for your event, I'm like, sign me up because this is how I live.
Yes,
Yeah,
wow, that's a wonderful story, really. And of course, that's the power of gratitude because, of course, we have also the moments of growth. And
yeah,
that is only the power how we use it. And of course,
yeah.
you had the moment where you didn't use it because you didn't knew it.
I didn't
But
know. I didn't know. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
so many people actually take also gratitude for granted because this is so simple. Of course, you can also add it more peace to embodiment, but starting even small, really being grateful for what you already have, because what you have always something to be really grateful, whatever
yes,
you have, or
yes,
you have plenty or you don't have it. And that's what I realized that so many people also taking for granted. And of course, for me, like manifestation mentor is also the foundations of manifesting. Actually, gratitude is the first foundations because
yes,
this is the basic, like whatever you do, that's the strong foundations. And also you mentioned about health. And that's also the part of the mind, body, heart, and soul. What I am really strongly stands behind the other tools for speeding up the process of manifestations. But what you shared, the internal state, and our internal state for me is really the mind, body, heart, and soul coherence. And
yes,
I have also experienced some moments of growth where I really lose it also myself. That's why even maybe not the same way like you share it, but I could probably understand some parts what you shared. And
yeah,
even what you shared about your father, that yeah, he didn't use it his gift. And actually when the gifts are suppressed, then
yeah.
most of the time it's also affecting the physical body, because this is what I experienced it also on my own actually.
Okay.
And when you share that, that's why I strongly stand next to the tools to bring the visions to reality, because you can of course raise your frequency and lower of attractions and all other things. But
Yes.
without the strong foundation, what you say, also the health and everything, that's actually when we really need to also take care of it, because that's our strength. But of course, how we take it, we need to also, I do believe, then we need to also listen to our souls, of course,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
our hearts. And yeah, I would like also ask you about that. This is actually also topic which I am always passionate about the connections with your
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
and towards the gratitude. When did you experience, of course, probably in the awakening, then you probably
Yeah.
also got connect to the soul, or How was the journey with it?
Well, so first of all, fun fact, my first jazz duo, the name is Heart and Soul, which I think is
Well,
great because I stopped doing what was expected of me and I started doing what was in my heart and soul. And in my heart and soul, I was an artist. My mom said you were singing and dancing before you could walk and talk. So that's a pretty good clue that I'm supposed to be on stage, right? But it was suppressed because my father was told good men are not on stages. Good men are good husbands and fathers and providers. So my dad was busy making money, but he wasn't busy making music, which is what he should have been doing. And he didn't have to do one or the other. He could have done both, right? But he felt like, that's not my identity. I can't be on stage. So I'm just going to make money and take care of my family. Well, guess what? He got sick. He got sick mentally, he got sick physically, his relationship was not good, and that's the price he paid for not doing what he was brought here to do. So he didn't listen to that little voice. He didn't listen to his soul, right? And so you just asked me, like about soul, and yeah, your soul is your intuition. Your soul knows what you need in order to have a great life. And when I hit rock bottom, basically I was able to separate from my ego and really connect to my soul. And that's what allowed me to have the courage to get on a world class jazz stage and just record an album, to perform, what was in my heart and soul to do. And so, yeah, it was a real shift, from wanting to end my life to not just surviving, but going on to thriving and showing others how they can do it. That's why I had to go through it, right? We go through things and our stories can save lives. A lot of lives have been saved because I've told my story, especially if people have wanted to take their lives, because I can relate. I've wanted to take my life more than once because I lived out of alignment. And each of our stories matters. And that's the other cool thing. I'm gathering all the stories on my platform that can help people because it's not just my modality that matters. All modalities matter. Whatever way you do gratitude in your unique way, your way is needed. My unique way is needed. The next person's unique way is needed because at least one person needs our exact story, our message, and our magic. Magic is modality, magic is method, how we got there, right? So there's people that need exactly you, Eva. There's people that need exactly me. There's people that need my team. I have a team of people that facilitate my work, but they also put their own modalities on my platform because the Miracle Magnet movement, of which I'm the founder of, states all modalities matter. Whatever modalities have helped you is what you need, and whatever modalities help me is what I need. And we all have a different, what I call miracle mix. What is in your mix of things that have helped you, right? Is it breath work? Is it journaling? For me, it's sound healing. That's why I became a jazz artist at 51. I'm a sound healer. I have a few other modalities I love. And I always say there's over 8 billion people on the planet, Eva, and there's over 8 billion ways to love your vibe and be a miracle magnet. You get to choose what works for you. And I just invite people to get on their journey of connecting to who they truly are with their heart and soul and get all the pieces into your miracle mix that you need in order to live your best, most aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed life. Because when you do that, you are going to leave the world a better place. You are going to leave the world with a beautiful legacy that makes the world better when you're gone one day. That's what your mission is, to connect with that, to live it, and then leave the world better. That's what I believe. Do you resonate with that?
Yes, exactly. That's definitely I really resonate, and being also authentic. Actually, I can say that of course I had some questions, but you answered them almost all in the aligned way. That's also how we manifest, of course, and that's where is the connections. But what you shared about authenticity, because this is good to actually share also with others. I know then. In this darkest moment, it's not always easy for others to live fully in
Yeah.
authenticity because they face, of course, the shadow also
Yeah.
of. And what would you say? Yeah, what would you say to that? How to actually yeah, choose the authenticity even in those darkest moments, because I know I also choose this even in those moments. I had some visions. I faced it also when I was disconnected. I knew it was not easy for me, it was very hard, but
Yeah.
I knew it. I had also the visions and I was going through this process towards it. But I know not everyone will choose that so easily. Even I wasn't aware of everything what was happening back then. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I made other choices directly,
Yeah.
probably as you. But I mean, what was your experience with really choosing the authenticity, even in those darkest moments? Did you had some moment
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not?
Well, you know what? That's a great question, Eva. And, I'm going to say it was divine that I did it in my life because I literally thought my one and only child, who turned 31 yesterday, he's doing really well. But at that time, he was about 11 or 12. And this was over 15 years ago. And I gotta say that, he kept me getting out of bed every day and getting him fed and getting him off to school. But I had such a dark depression during that time, 2 years being bullied at work and socially, going to a dark place mentally. And he kept me going. But there was a point where I said, he's better off without me in his life as his mother because I am not a happy person. And I wasn't going to take drugs. No disrespect to anybody that takes drugs for their mental health, but I was a drug rep and I know what drugs do to our body, and I didn't want to be dependent on drugs for the rest of my life for my mental health. And I also saw my dad, because he lived out of alignment, he got bullied at work just like I did in his 50s. He had a nervous breakdown and he had to go on a strong anti-anxiety drug for the rest of his life. So I saw what drugs did to him and I said, no, my story's not going to end the same way. Also, because I was a drug rep, right? So I knew it couldn't be drugs. I knew, oh, therapy. I had 2 years of therapy when I was a new mom. My mom's my best friend today, but back then I had a lot of mommy issues and it took 2 years to get over those issues. If I'd had my modality, my method, I could have got over it a lot faster. But I had to experience that Western medicine, right? To know what it was like, to have that gift of contrast. So when, I said it can't be Western medicine, so it can't be drugs, it can't be therapy, and it can't be Tony Robbins' landmark education, which those ideas, those mindset shifts worked until they didn't. And then and then it couldn't be religion. God is out there, I'm a lowly sinner. That wasn't helping me feel better. I still wanted to end my life. So why did I have to hit that rock bottom where I received the gift of the miracle magnet method? Well, it was to show that it's possible. You can, no matter how dark it is, you can get out of it. And you just have to have the right system, the right support. And if anybody's in a dark place and they know that they're meant to feel better, honestly, just move towards the people that speak to you. If they speak to you or one of your, guests on this summit, like just move, like, I hope they're tuning in and they're listening and they can move towards the person that they go, oh, wow, I can relate to that story. Maybe this person can help me. Because when you're going through the dark, it's hard unless you've seen someone that's been through the dark and can basically hold up a torch and say, follow me, I know the way. In fact, I have a shortcut. So I pray, I'm getting chills and tears. I pray that people will have less time struggling because they've got my method, they've got my magic. And I pray that they realize what's possible for them because they're like, wow, our stories are similar. And she was able to not just survive. Oh, thank you for the love. She was able to not just survive, but she went on to thrive. And I know I can do it too. So I just pray that you reach out to someone that you resonate with. And I have complimentary conversations. You just go to my link tree. Maybe you'll put the link for that, elvirahopper.com/link tree. And I am willing to talk to you. It's no charge, just to see where you're at, where you want to go, and can I make a recommendation for you? Because not everybody's meant to serve everybody, but I've been doing this over 15 years now. I'm a multi-award winning life coach. I know a lot of people and I know a lot of modalities, and I can maybe guide you a little bit, and it's no charge.
Wow, thank you. Definitely, I will share that the link, of course, so that if this
Yeah,
story, your stories resonate with someone, then definitely I will say just really reach out to
yeah,
Elvira. You have never nothing to lose, but you have only something to win, and
yeah.
especially in those moments, because I think in those moments, not everyone, I realize it now during the work that I'm doing now, that not everyone is open to really
No. And that's okay.
ask
If they're
for
not,
help
yeah, yeah,
and ask for help. And I can say it from my own experience. I actually back then I didn't know it about self-development journey when I was
yeah.
disconnected, when I
No,
affected my body. I was really seeking. This took me some time, some years to seek. The first what I saw was actually Tony Robbins on YouTube. He
yeah,
actually, for me, this was break. I was needed the back then because this was for my mindset first. Like
yes,
this was the
yes.
first step, and later on, of course, I
Me
went
too,
to.
me too. Yeah, yeah. Tony was my gateway drug into personal development. And you know what? His work got me out of a dark place when I went from the lab into big pharma. But you know what? When I was at rock bottom, his teachings did not help me. So I knew that I was meant to usher something new. And Tony's teachings and landmark education, which is another big one on the planet, they can be considered very in your face, toxic, masculine approaches. And you see, I had so much trauma because of all those years of living out of alignment and being bullied. I couldn't be further traumatized. I needed a gentle rain soaks, divine feminine approach. And that's what mine is, right? So, and I'm grateful for every moment of my pain that I went through for those 2 years, because I got this way out, and now I can help others who are still struggling. And hopefully they don't have to struggle for as long as I did, 2 years, right? And so I just like to think, your stories happen for you, not to you, so you can help others.
It's wonderful. And I will also ask that part now about the authenticity from other sides. Of course, the community, the group where will be watched, and also when I will post on YouTube, of course, to those who watched and who have also own business. Of course, I can say then owning own business is also like kind of self-development journey
Yeah,
because
truly, truly.
you discover
Yes,
yourself. And of course, there
yes,
are also those moments, of course, that can be then someone will really related to the really darkest moment on their life
yeah,
currently. But it can then sometimes you have this darkest moments in the business, or you are maybe in the alignment, but somewhere not fully. And
yeah,
how you actually adjusted the authenticity in that, yeah, of course, you live with your purpose, but was that always from the beginning in your business, then everything was flowing, or did you had some break points, like there was not always everything in alignment? I mean, in your business grow, of course, in
right.
the business expansions, was there situations where was something not in alignment,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
everything? Yeah.
Great question. Great question. Yeah, I've got to say that when I had my breakdown and my breakthrough, that's what allowed me to get aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed. So I definitely lived with more alignment. But business is personal development. You have to grow yourself in order to grow your business. So there was many aspects I was still learning, right? Like, and I'm still learning today, 15 years in, right? I'm going to be 64 this summer. I'm still learning, and I'm going to learn until I die. So I think it's a progression. We're always getting more and more refined into our aligned state and our mission and how we serve in a unique way. And yeah, like at first there was a lot of like, I don't know what I'm doing here, right? But I listen to certain people, and I have to say one thing that I would do different is I would get a business coach right away next time. So this is why I do life, biz, and legacy coaching. If I'd had me at the beginning of my journey, I think I would be doing a lot better than I am. Like I'm doing okay now, but I think I would have progressed faster because I would have had the wisdom of somebody who had been through all the things. And wisdom is it's priceless, right? Like the wisdom that came through my story has saved lives. Like what's a life worth, right? The wisdom that came through your story is saving lives and businesses too, I'm sure. And so, like we have like I basically see that now that I would have invested earlier. But also, but the good thing was when I was able to separate from my ego at rock bottom, when I thought the world was better off without me in it, I wasn't meant to die. I was meant to not just survive, but go on to thrive. And the thing that I separated from was being led by my ego self. My ego self, nearly died, right? But I was able to start living primarily as my higher self. That higher self is in alignment with my bigger purpose, right? And that purpose always evolves too, right? So it's not like you're a one and done. But the really magical piece was my story is kind of similar to Eckhart Tolle and Byron Katie, where they at rock bottom didn't want to live and they separated from their ego. That happened to me as well. So my ego is still there because ego is there to protect me if I need it, but I don't live as my ego self. I live as my higher self. And as a result, I attract amazing situations, people, business, all the things that I'm here to attract in order to live my mission. I have an incredible team of people that, believe in this mission, to help, reveal more miracle magnets on the planet, which is going to reveal what we believe is heaven on earth, right? When enough of us know how to love our vibe and be miracle magnets, it's going to be heaven on earth, right? Because people are going to start living as their higher selves and not their ego selves. Imagine a world filled with us, right? So that's ultimately my vision for the world. Yeah, and it took a while to get here. And I would have definitely invested in a great mentor and coach earlier on. So, yeah.
Oh wow, no, that's I agree because that's of course I took directly, but first I needed to actually first taking care of myself because I was rebuilding myself first, the internal state
Yes.
also in this moment, and after that, yes, but taking the right aligned person who is. I do believe that is also important to take the help, but also that is resonate to us, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes there is also misalignment
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Amazing.
and I have one more questions before we
Sure.
will ending, because of course you have the aligned authenticity and full self-expressions, which are
Yeah.
the most important parts.
Yes.
And I know then of course in the leadership, because we have also here leaders and who will watch probably also. What would you say actually about the full self expressions? Because some leaders are still hiding somewhere, and
Oh,
they don't want to show, like
yeah.
express them fully. And yes, what was it? Maybe I don't know if you experienced that ever or not, but if
Yeah.
not, and if yes, then if you could share about that, and if not, then what would you suggest just from yourself, like you from
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. Well, I truly believe if we are leaders in business, especially heart-centered leaders that are here to make the world a better place, I call us light leaders, right? We've been to the dark, we found the light, and now we're leading others to the light, right? Light leaders, that's us, right? I got chills. And I believe that as light leaders, we need to become fully ourselves to show people what's possible for them. Because if we're hiding elements of ourselves, it's going to come out in our bodies. We're going to get sick. We're not going to show up as powerfully as we need to in order to serve the people we're meant to serve. When I became a pro jazz artist at 51, do you know what that did for me and my business? First of all, it took my marriage from here to here. Why? Because my husband now got all of me. Okay, this is what I believe. When you get to be fully yourself, when you get to be vulnerable, when you get to just show who you truly are, it brings people even closer together. So that's what we got. And our marriage was hell for most of it, I'll be honest, because I lived for my ego, nearly killed my marriage 3 different times. But when I became fully me, aligned, authentic, fully self expressed, our marriage took off. And my business took off too, because it's like, oh my God, she was able to do that. How can she help me? Do you know how many musicians I've actually helped because they saw me getting the awards and singing for celebrities and singing for the mayor? Like, they're like, what the heck is she doing? Like, most musicians, no disrespect to my colleagues who are musicians, they're mostly crap magnets, okay? And this is a word I use very, very carefully because I was a crap magnet for most of my life. I lived at such a low vibration that I attracted crappy things I didn't want. But when I made the shift to miracle magnet, I attract things I do want. So I've seen so many musicians that live as crap magnet musicians. And I believe they can live as miracle magnet musicians. So a lot of them have found me. They tend to be, most of them have been, musicians in their midlife plus, and they know that they're here to do more with their music. So they invest in themselves and work with me. And guess what? They start doing something more with their music because I've got the keys to the kingdom as far as helping musicians shift from crap magnets to miracle magnet musicians. And so so your question was, I'm trying to remember what you asked me again.
About the full self-expression,
Yes, full
of course.
self-expression.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So if you've got something inside you, right? Like for me, I was an artist my whole life, but my father told me women on stages were sluts. I didn't want to be a slut, right? So every time I would, show up authentically myself, I got shamed for that. Like one year I got to dance for the Toronto Argonauts. So I used to be a professional cheerleader, not a trained dancer, but somehow I got accepted onto the squad. And so I danced for one year. Every time I would leave to go to these games to dance on the field for the football games, my father would see me leaving the house with my little uniform and he would shame me. He would say, "Oh, you're just going to go shake your behind on the field so all the boys will look at you." And I was like, yeah, Dad, that's what I'm going to do. Bye. And I would be gone, right? At that point, I was 25 and I didn't care what he said, but I always felt that sense of shame that I shouldn't be doing this. But I did it anyway because it was in me to do. At 11, I saw a bunch of beautiful women singing and dancing on stage. And I told my dad I wanted to be one of them. And he told me I couldn't. So at that age, I said, okay, Daddy, I'm not allowed to be who I want to be. Who do you need me to be so you will love me? And that's when I figured out he wanted me to be a good little Italian Catholic girl, get good grades, get a good career, get a good husband, and give him some grandchildren. Well, guess what, Eva? I checked off all those boxes, and at rock bottom, I was not me. I was ready to die. What saved me was becoming fully self-expressed. And this is what I believe can help all of us, is to do everything that's in you to do. Because you'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be wealthier, you'll have better relationships, and most importantly, the world will get what you got. I don't have my dad's album because my dad never had the right mindset to record an album. He never felt like he could because good men were not on stages. I recorded my jazz album. If my son ever wants my music, it's always going to be there, whether he wants it or not, but it's going to be there. But what I would do for my dad's album today, if he'd allowed himself to get fully self-expressed. And we don't have to do one thing. We get to do all the things that light us up, that make us more whole, more ourselves. That's the goal, is become whole. I've never said it like that before. That's the goal, is become whole. Yes. Mic drop right there.
Yes, no, thank you. And that's probably, if you didn't say that before, I am all for wholeness because we are whole exactly how we are. And probably
Yes.
this came exactly. Thank you. That was so beautiful, really, to hear the
Oh,
stories, that also the expressions of it. I related so with so many things with my own experiences in different ways. And of course, our journeys are is always different. But
yeah.
so many pieces I could like replace my even in other situations. Like there is so many, and the positive and the negative parts what you shared, like I feel that's really like fully alignment in that. That's why you are, we met also, the spirit was
Yeah,
guiding us to here.
exactly. And I've manifested so many miracles lately that it's not a surprise. I manifested being able to be your VIP speaker. I just manifested my dream car last week. I'm going to be picking up my Mercedes Benz this Thursday, right? Like that was my dream car for so many years. And when you get into alignment and you're authentic and you're fully self-expressed and you're living in gratitude, you can manifest your greatest desires. And I just manifested another one. So, and you were another one. So anyway, this is what we all get to do. I'm just an example of what's possible. And when I want to leave with this one thing that might make you smile. Tony Robbins, when I did his program many years ago, when I left the lab and went into big pharma and I had a lot of depression and anxiety, I was being bullied in the lab and I went to a dark place, right? Because I'm a sensitive person. Tony Robbins asked you at the beginning of that program, I think it was Awaken the Giant or The Power Within, one of those two programs. And I was listening to it on tapes. That's how old I am. And I remember the first thing he asked was, what is that thing that is in you to do? What is that thing that is so precious to you that you don't even dare tell a single soul what it is? What do you think I said when he asked me that question, Eva?
Mhm. That's good questions. Of course, first the artist, and it's but I do feel that this was some deeper desires than you want
Yeah.
actually bring more light to the world.
Oh my God, you're so smart. Everybody says, Elvira, you wanted to be on stage singing and dancing. And I say, no. What I said was, Tony, I want to be you. I want to help people. I want to help people take back their power and their lives. And that's what I'm doing today.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's yes, I can feel you are a really beautiful soul also. That's yeah, how I
Thank you.
also work, of course, and I can feel it. I can always see it in others, even beyond the other. Like you have, of course, your material things, you have your titles and everything, but I always look for others, like from other perspective. This is my natural gift. I always do that, and this is not then you huge people or whatever. This is just that I just know that that's is it. And when we mostly meet or speak, then this is and what you shared
Oh,
just now. When I shared about the lighting, and of course I see your emotions, I know that that's yeah, that's true. And yeah, that was really beautiful conversations. And
oh,
I am looking forward really to having you and yeah, of course, and to giving the sessions, whatever you have prepared for us. This will be really wonderful for us to experience. And yeah, if you want to add something about that, or you want to share about that a little bit, what it will be, then will be
um,
great. And
you know what?
other
I'm good with whatever, like we can have a talk offline and talk about what is a good way I can serve. Just let me know. I'm open to everything. I'm just a channel. That's one of the gifts I got when I hit rock bottom. Not only did I become a pro jazz artist, but I became a channel. So I went from being terrified of public speaking to I just share what spirit wants me to share. So we can chat about that.
That's okay. And the last one, I will just ask, do you have something like you are now excited about something's project or whatever, then you are like, now you are lifted up, then you want to share with the world. And you,
Wow, I've got so many projects. I've got so many things that are lighting me up these days. One of the big ones I can talk about is because the other one, the other two I haven't launched yet. But I do two really cool things. One is called Legacy at Sea. So if you go to legacyatsea.com, you will see it, and it's basically a program where I bring 12 amazing coaches onto a world-class luxury ocean liner, a cruise ship, and we do an amazing program on there. So I want to do two of those a year. So that's one program I'm really excited about. Another one is I work with a New York celebrity stylist, an image strategist, activator, and she lives in New York City, and she and I do events together where we help people in how they're showing up in their brand, in their image, and internally, so that the two can align and that they can be even more powerful. So we lead this group called the Collective, by Thriving Your Mission. And that is a very cool container membership that if you're, the tagline is a community to fuel your legacy chapter. So it's all midlife plus light leaders like us who just want to be more seen so that they can attract their ideal clients. And Tavia helps you from the, more branding, image activation, and I help you more with the inner work of alignment and being a miracle magnet, basically. So yeah, so those are two cool things I'm very excited about right now. But I also lead an amazing team that facilitate my work, and my one-on-one coaching is amazing. I have very high level programs there as well. So if anybody's watching, that's a very high level person. I have I can only take two people at this level. It's called All of You. And it's a program that helps people that are living way up here, but they're not fully self-expressed. And they may, like my dad, die with their real music still in them. And I believe that's tragic because we'll never get their magic. So I want to work with them to make sure that they leave their biggest legacy behind on the planet. So you asked me for one or two and you got more. But anyway, that's what I'm excited about.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely whoever will watch, then I will say definitely, of course, connect with Elvira,
Yes.
follow her, and yes, and for those, of course, in the summit, because the conversation with Elvira will stay on social forever, unless
Wow.
unless
That's kind of scary.
YouTube will.
I hope I didn't mess up too bad.
Unless
Yeah,
I
this
will
is
share
great.
that also on YouTube, unless YouTube will shut down whatever, then is something out of my control. But
Yeah.
for the rest will stay. Then, if you
Oh,
feel and if one of those topics resonates, it can. Then you are in the darker moments and you are just needed the lifting up. Then just reach out to Elvira to these conversations which she offered. And if it's then you are, yeah, high level leader and you want
yeah,
just go into the full expressions and also have the wonderful experience, because of course this is not only that the awakening within ourselves but also having the experience during the process. That's also
yeah, yeah.
powerful. That's why this also is for you. And yes, there are limited spots, but of course you can always see what is
Yeah, yeah,
what is on
yeah.
your horizon. And yes, no, thank you, Elvira,
Thank
for the
you.
conversation.
You're such a bright light in the world, Eva, and I'm so glad you put together this beautiful event. I'm truly honored and thrilled to be a part of it. So I wish you the best with all your beautiful conversations, and may you serve all of the people globally that you're meant to serve through this beautiful collective.
Thank you very much. Yes, I will do my best. I will just keep keep going towards my missions, and that's the summit is just the small little part
Yeah.
of it. And yes,
Oh, so
no,
beautiful, Eva. So beautiful. Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Take care. Oh, I think they're still live.